Santa Fe, meet Tony Potter. Tony Potter came to Santa Fe in 1988 as a young 20-year-old man with anger, aggression, and no direction. His story is one of hard challenges and a brokenness to the point of attempting suicide. Mr. Potter, through God's grace, was able to eventually turn all of that around in a way that produced a mix of strength and compassion that is rare and even unique, ultimately leading to a life of service to our community. Fight losses, past abuse, and a close call with attempted suicide was Mr. Potter's rock bottom. But lessons learned from those painful times remade him into something much greater than he could have ever imagined as the angry 20-year-old that came to Santa Fe decades ago. Today, Mr. Potter is changing lives through martial arts instruction. He uses the countless lessons that spring from that discipline, mixed with his own hard-earned life lessons and love for people, into a hybrid teaching form. Mr. Potter can commonly be found teaching Santa Feans, including children, adults, handicapped, anyone, lessons of respect, compassion, commitment, and powerful self-defense. JD and I hope that you will enjoy our sit down with Mr. Potter. We hope this interview will inspire you as it did us. Quick chapter links are in the description below, and we hope that you will share this video with your friends and your families. Links to previous episodes as well as our website is also listed in the description below. Thank you for watching this episode of Who is Santa Fe?
Seagal was saying, well, it's a opinion that he was a champion anywhere. So those Steven Seagal interviews are very interesting because he's such a prideful dude.
Right.
Always talking down about other people.
Right.
And at the same time, he's...
I've never met him.
I've met him once, well, kind of. It was at a gun show in Albuquerque, and he was a jerk. And then I've also worked in films and I've done stunts and stuff. And
but I'm a jerk and you still hang out with me.
Huh?
I'm a jerk and you still hang out with me.
You're the anti-jerk.
Oh, okay.
You're the anti-jerk.
All right, so...
But he would kick stunt guys. Full blast.
Let's get this going. Our cameras are rolling. Thank you so much for talking to us and sitting down with us.
Excellent. It's an honor.
Yeah. So question number one, we call you Tony, we call you Mr. Potter.
You can call me whatever you want.
What do you prefer?
On the mat, if you're my student, it's Mr. Potter.
Okay.
But I'm Tony Potter. Mr. Speakman is Mr. Speakman. But people that know him outside the school, it's Jeff. So in an interview, I'm Mr. Potter. People know me by Mr. Potter. Most of my students and their parents don't even know my first name. They don't. They just, and I don't go by Sensei. I don't go by, Sifu or anything like that. It's Mr. Potter. It's just simple.
Okay. Well, you said to call us whatever you want. That's a little long. So if we're talking, I say, hey, whatever you want. We'll call you Mr. Potter.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, you have a dojo. You have a Kempo 5.0 here. Why don't you just start by telling us what you do here? What happens here?
What we do, we change lives. We change lives, and I have 23 years of having our school now, and I can just name after name after name after name of kids' lives I've changed. And not just the kids that come and train with us, their parents, their grandparents, their cousins, their friends. Because when you change one life, you ultimately change many. And you see a culture start to change. That's what we do, we change lives.
How do you do that?
Teaching a child that their worth is way more than what they think it is. That their actions have consequences, either positive or negative. Everything you do in life, it's either going to give you a positive response or a negative response. You know, I've heard somebody say once, your goal in life is to try to reach yourself to heaven. Every step you take, you need to be trying to make it closer and closer to heaven. Well, every good thing you do in life gets you one step closer to heaven. Every bad thing you do in life gets you one step away. So in martial arts, in our school, our goal is to teach these kids to keep stepping forward and keep striving to be the best versions of themselves. We've changed years ago about being the best fighter. We want our kids to be able to fight. It's important because when you have that confidence within you, you get better grades. I do not know one of my black belts, my kids' black belts, that aren't straight A students. But they weren't straight A students when they came to me. They were A's, B's, C's, D's, some F's. And after a few years, they start getting better study habits. They start to realize the importance of an education. And Kempo is one of the most difficult arts to learn. There is so much material. Now, behind the camera, on that wall, every belt level has anywhere from 10 to 24 techniques in it, plus a set and a form and a creed, plus all your basics. And you have to remember everything you learned in that previous belt.
Okay. That's interesting. So cumulatively, by the time you're a black belt, if JD was going to come in here and he said, I want to be a black belt in Kempo, how many moves total is this that you memorize?
Moves? I can't even tell you how many moves.
And these all are memorized.
Yep, but there's yellow all the way up to black. So there's yellow, orange, purple, blue, green, 3 levels of brown, and black. When you get to black, you're now at the beginning. Because then you go back to orange,
That's cool.
You get your extensions onto those techniques, which is just elaborated movement. And then from there, you get your second black. Then you go to purple. Then you learn a new form. You learn extensions onto those techniques, and you get your third black. You're not even a fully qualified instructor until you're third black. It breaks my heart when I have black belts quit at black, because they don't realize they just got there.
Wow.
They just got to the beginning, because you really don't start to understand the motion until you get into the blacks, and then you start teaching it, you start sharing, you start giving back, and the light bulbs start going off when you show somebody something and they do it and you're like, oh, and then you want to share that with a student right away because you see the fullness of what you just showed them, and they do it and it teaches you something, which is so cool. You know, teaching is an amazing thing. It's a beautiful thing, especially when you're teaching motion.
Absolutely. When did you begin your journey in martial arts?
When I was in high school, I did about 6 months of Taekwondo. And then I got my butt whooped by this wrestler and stopped doing Taekwondo. But I was a fighter, you know, in high school, grade school, college. You know, my life was a mess. I moved out here in 1989, and I was working in some places that needed a better skill set, I should say. And at that time, I was working at Rodeo Nights, Santa Fe.
Oh, God.
Rodeo Nights, Rodeo Fights, it used to be called.
We missed that place.
We
It's an old
all
honky-tonk.
miss that place,
Yeah,
but I
it's
hear
fun.
there's a place coming soon.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know much about it, so I won't say it, but It's coming back.
Wow.
I never actually went into rodeo night.
You never did?
I never went
I was
out.
just a boy and
Everybody
I
tells
went
me
into
about it
the...
all those days, and I'm like, huh?
You know, I never went out. I mean, there was times we would go there and get there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you would be there the whole night, and 6 o'clock in the morning you're leaving.
Oh my God.
I'm glad that lifestyle's over.
Yeah.
Because a few of my friends aren't alive anymore because of that lifestyle. But it gave me a skill set. But there was a night we got into a scrap, and my instructor at that time was Larry Hamilton. He was a manager at Rodeo Nights, and he goes, "Hey, you should come to my dojo. Come and do some Kempo." I had no idea what Kempo was, but I thought, hey, it has something to do with fighting. I'll go. So I went, and I got into this class, and there's a lady. I mean, I'm 21 years old at the time, and there's a lady standing beside me, and she had to be in her 40s, so some old lady. Now I'm 57. She was an old lady. And then there's this guy over here, and he's like 20 years old and 6'3", and then it's like a bunch of misfits, right? Just different. But everybody's in a white gi, and I'm in a white gi. I had this white uniform on. I could see my underwear through the pants. And I had this white belt on, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I hated it. I was mad. You know, I lost my football scholarship. I had scholarships to play college football. I played 5 games and got hurt. So I lost my scholarship. So I moved out here, kind of an angry 20-year-old. So at 21 at the time, and I'm in this class, and I hated it. You know, you're standing there punching, and it was the stupidest thing in the world. So I quit. I didn't go back. And Larry's like, where you been? I go, I don't know if it's for me. And he goes, come back to our fighting class. Oh, you have a fighting class? Because that's what I thought I went to. He goes, yeah, come back in. We have a sparring class. So I went in, and, you know, at that time I wasn't a smoker, but I had already worked in the clubs for 2 years because I was working at Cheeks when I was 20.
Mr. Potter.
I know, but it gave me a skill set. And I love what I did in the past because it's given me a skill to teach, not just fighting, but about life. You learn a lot when you do those jobs. You learn a lot about people, about character.
Yeah.
You know, about struggles. You know, I have stories to tell you about the people I met in that place. But anyway, I went to this fighting class, and so here I am, I'm all pumped up, and I'm like, and there's that guy, that kid that was standing beside me earlier, a few weeks before. He's like 6'3", and he's in great shape. Well, I just got done playing college football, but that was 2 years prior, and I'd been working in the clubs, and my parents were smokers, and my goodness, I thought if I could just grab him. We weren't doing jiu-jitsu at the time, it was just striking, right? But if I could just grab him, I knew I could have beat him up if I could get a hold of him. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't catch him. And he was tagging me and beating the heck out of me, and I hated it. It just demolished me. So here my self-esteem just went boom. So I didn't go back for about a year. And then I was in a marriage, and my life was kind of rocky, and I went back to class, and something changed. I went back in class, and I was a little more humble. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna actually get into this. I'm gonna try to figure it out. And so what martial arts did for me at those times when the family I was involved in at that time, when everybody would be partying, I'd go off in another room and I'd practice my Kempo, and I still was living a crazy life, but it got me away, and class got me away. And slowly just worked myself up through, and finally got my black under Larry Hamilton here in Santa Fe, and then I met Mr. Speakman. And I met my wife prior to that, and changed my life. Changed my life. So, in 89, I would say, I started Kempo, and I haven't looked back except for the time I quit because I had that stupid white gi on.
What is your martial arts philosophy?
What is my martial arts philosophy? Man, it's changed over the years. I started martial arts because of the fight, and I loved it. I got into MMA, and we were teaching MMA, and I did an MMA fight, and it was all about the fist. It was all about, I played in college football. My credibility was based on me being able to start, making it on the play. When you can't just be on a team, you have to be one of the players. Well, I wound up being the captain of the football team. And then in college, first 5 games, I played in college. the first 5 games. And I already had a bad back until I hurt myself again. And when I lost all that, I lost a lot of me. I lost a lot of my direction. So when I started working in the clubs again, it was about that ego, you know, being honest. It was all about ego. You know, how do if I can impose my will on somebody, there's my self-worth. And I was doing MMA fighting and training, and we had, you know, I became a promoter. The picture over there on the wall is a fight that I promoted. It was a fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I'll tell you more about that later. And I did my first fight. I got choked out because I had no jiu-jitsu at that time. I got choked out, and I'm ready. I wanted to do another fight. And my instructor, Mr. Speakman, he said, "Tony, why do you want to do it? What are you doing? You have a school. Why are you wanting to do this MMA stuff?" I said, "I want to test myself. You know, like any kid, right? You did this. I want to test myself." And he goes, "Well, when you rate your success in life on the failure of someone else, you might want to reevaluate your goals." And it hit me. I was basing my success in life on my ability to beat somebody else, whether beat them up or just beat them in whatever it was, whether it's a game or whether it's fighting. Or my success in life was all based on me making somebody else lose. And I told my wife, Erica at the time, I said, "Wow, that hit hard." And our school went from 40 students within a year and a half to 150, because my mentality changed. So what's my philosophy on martial arts? The word samurai means to serve. I would love the opportunity to be a samurai again, because I feel like that's what a true martial artist should be and do. Serve. You have a skill set. Your skill set is the art of movement. Any martial arts. I don't get into what's best and what's worst. I really don't. I think anything's better than nothing, except for the fake stuff. You know, we don't even talk about that. But if it's a valid martial arts, whether it's Taekwondo or Shotokan or kickboxing or Jiu-Jitsu or Japanese Jiu-Jitsu or Brazilian it doesn't matter. You're doing something positive. You wind up with a skill set. You're able to, at your level, use your art to defend yourself and others. And some people never can, ultimately. They'll never be able to really use the art that they're learning to physically defend somebody. Well, the reality is that's when they need to have this. I tell the kids often, I said, "Okay, what does the karate mean?" Karate means empty hands. The word karate means empty hands. I said, "Okay, lift your hands up in the air." And they look at this. I go, "What's your most important weapon?" They're like, "We don't know." I go, "What's in between your hands?" And they're like, "Nothing." I go, "No, your head. Your brain is the most important weapon." The martial arts has made me a smarter person over these years. I wasn't an intelligent college student. I got to college because cheerleaders liked me. They helped me get to college. I have no problem saying that now, because it's a lesson. You know, and I went to college to play football. I also had a scholarship, half scholarship for music, half scholarship for football. I was like the movie Glee, captain of the football team and lead singer.
I was going to say music and football.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. I was in musicals. I was in The Music Man.
Did you sing? Did you play?
Yeah, I sang. I didn't play. My parents had a band when I was younger.
Okay, but
my
you
mom was
sang.
very talented, but I sang.
Okay.
And I had a K-State honors choir, and you know, I was very talented. And I should have stuck with music, but here I am, a 19-year-old kid, just lost his football scholarship. All I had left was music. And I love how people change over the years. But let's just say 90% of the guys that were in music were homosexual.
Really?
Yeah.
In the school
in college.
you were in? Okay.
In college.
Okay.
Is that a problem? It was a problem for a 19-year-old that just lost his masculinity. And I'm just being honest. You know? I look back at it now, I'm different now. I'm a different man now.
Yeah.
I have different views. I have many friends, but it bothered me then. And I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with the diverse atmosphere that I was left with because I lost football.
Wow.
You know, so I was very angry. And when I moved out here, I was very angry because of it. So, you know, what is your question again, just, man, it's changed over the years. I just really feel like a martial artist needs to give back. They need to give back their knowledge and their love for humanity. They have to have love for humanity, or you're just a fighter. And those are valid. There's guys that need to just fight, and we need those people in this world. But I think we need less.
Yeah.
This world's full of people. It's not hard to hurt somebody. A friend of mine years ago got killed with a .22. You know? I've seen many people over the years be damaged for the rest of their life, and it didn't take much to damage them. The gift is to be able to put a smile on somebody's face. The gift is to be able to lift somebody up that feels like they're about to give up and walk through another day.
And it sounds like from what you said earlier, it seems to me that you also feel that the gift is to be able to defend, because you mentioned defense a few times. And I think that's valuable and important, because
it is.
If you're somebody in your family, somebody in your community that has the ability to defend, I mean, that's amazing.
It is, you know, and I love taking these little children, girls and boys, and they won't look at me in the eye when they first come in, and they're scared to death. They're hiding behind their mama. Within a few weeks, few months, they're hugging me. They're out here on the forest, and with vigor, and they've empowered. And the parents come up to me with tears that you've changed my child's life, and well, you changed their life by bringing them in. They didn't bring themselves.
Yeah.
So we do this together. Yes, you have to be able to defend yourself. Yes, but most of it is here. You know, I'm 57 years old. Every single fight I've ever been in my life could have been avoided. Every one. I'd say 70% of them were caused because of my mouth. Not that I was a bad guy, but I would make comments, you know, stupid comments. And I'd get in people's business. You know, I see something happening and, you know, I thought I needed to step in, and I would step in, or I would just, somebody would say something about my jacket. It would be a Steeler jacket, and they're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and, you know, in those days, my mouth got me into most of those fights. I've only had one time where I really felt like I had no option. Really no option. One time out of all the fights that I've been in. And it's been many. So I look back over all the years and I think, why am I running a martial arts school when ultimately people just need to be better people? Couldn't we just send them to church? Okay, this right here. Wisdom, strength, and kindness. That's what the kanji is. And I ask everybody that comes in, what's the most important? And often kids will say, strength. I go, okay, so if you're super strong like the Incredible Hulk, but you're not kind, are you dangerous? Oh yeah. Yeah, so if you're super strong, you're dangerous. Oh, okay, you have to be super smart. And I go, okay, so if you can make the atomic bomb, but you have no heart and you have no kindness, how dangerous are you? Okay, kindness is the most important. And I go, yes, and if you're kind and you have no strength and you have no wisdom, you're all by yourself and you're weak. It takes them all. You have to have them, you have to have it all. So the martial arts teaches you how to be physically strong and mentally strong. You know, we push kids to where they want to give up. And then we teach them that giving up's not an option. Get back up off your feet. Get up. And then we fix a few things and then they go, oh, I can do it. And then a month later, they feel good. They've overcome that. You know, you think about playing football and those 2-a-days or those 3-a-days in football, and I can't make it. And then you make it and you're like, holy cow, I can make it. I can do anything. You know, you think of moms that have had babies. They're a weak little woman. And then they have this baby inside their belly. then they give birth to a baby. That woman's a superhero now. They can do anything. You can give birth to a baby. There's nothing a mom can't do. Women are the toughest people I've ever met in my life. My wife is. You know, I saw her give birth to two of our children, and I tell you what, that's a tough person. I got asked in Walmart one day, who's the toughest? Who do you think would win, Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris? And I go, Bruce Lee's dead. He ain't gonna win. No, but you know what I mean. And I go, I know what you mean, but it's a silly question. Because the reality is, what are they fighting for? My dad was 6'3", 290 pounds when he was healthy. When he was not healthy, he was 400 and some pounds because he had a kidney transplant, he had cancer surgery, 2 hip surgeries, he couldn't walk, he was disabled for the last 3 years of his life, and he sat in a recliner and had to self-inject pain medicine because of the scoliosis in his back. This was a very proud man who owned businesses, and he had a 38 sitting beside him, and he never pulled the trigger. That's the toughest man I know in my life. Not Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris. They're movie stars. And you're going after movie stars. You're not even George St. Pierre, or let's talk about just fighters. Who's the toughest? Okay, what are you fighting for? Because you take some woman who has no martial arts skills at all. She's just a badass from the street. Try to take her kid away from her and tell me what kind of fight you're going to get. Tell me what kind of martial art's going to come out of her. You know, you don't have to have a lot of skill. You have to have a desire. That's what we need to give these kids, is a desire to be tougher, a desire to get up off your butt and get busy.
I'd like to ask you the question about, you know, how your students find themselves here, how they realize the truth about themselves.
If a parent lets them, amazing things can happen. Parents often are the reasons kids quit. Because a kid says, I don't know if I like it. Oh, okay, honey, what else do you want to do? No, you got to stay the course. You know, you put them in something, you know, if you believe in it, then keep them in it. Because what I've seen over the years, children come to me and they evolve, they keep changing, don't they? I mean, they grow up, they have different desires, they like different foods, they have different skill sets. Their coordination, I love seeing kids when they come in and then they get into like 12 years old, 13 years old, and they're so uncoordinated because their feet are growing longer than what they're used to. And
I remember those days.
Their balance isn't good. And then many of them quit at that time because they feel so inferior. And their parents see them struggle. And a parent doesn't want to see their kids struggle unless you're a great parent. And then you understand that struggle is going to be like making diamonds. You know, diamonds are diamonds because of the pressure they're put under. And I put kids under pressure. And I see what happens. And we have a group of parents here right now that they're in. They're in, they watch. It's a comedy show because I'm just a little sarcastic. But I'm able to pull emotion out of these kids. I see when kids come in and I tell them right away, I said, I'm going to make you cry. You're what? I go, yeah, I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you afraid. I'm going to teach you how to overcome your fear. I'm going to teach you all of those things. I'm going to allow you to experience those things. Because you being able to control your emotions is what growth, that's one of the most important things that I can teach you. Yes, I'm going to teach you how to hit. I'm going to teach you how to kick. I'm going to teach you how to avoid being hit and kicked. But I'm going to teach you how to control your emotion. So these kids, those emotions, they change throughout the years. Every single year it changes. And sometimes they go through this little slump. And all of a sudden, boom, they're back on fire. And I'm like, okay, you're back, let's go. And it's so much fun to see that kind of growth. Because we change.
Yeah.
You know, we all change. I never liked spinach when I was a kid. I love spinach.
It's delicious.
I never liked fish. I love fish. I never liked to fish. I don't like to fish still. I don't have time to fish. But, you know, you change, things change. And so we can't count people out.
Yeah.
My goodness. I'm glad nobody counted me out. Because when my wife Erica met me back in 2000, I was out. I don't know what she liked about me. I can't imagine why she stuck with me. And she saw something in me, and she never gave up on me. A year before, I was ready to pull a trigger. And, some of the stuff I don't want to say, but I don't mind saying it. I was somebody who had a gun in my hand and pulled the trigger and didn't put the bullet in my head. Took the bullets out of the gun, put it on the table, and changed my life. From that day on, within 2 years, I had a baby boy. I had another 2.5-year-old son who was a year and a half when I met him. I owned a home and had a business, another 2 businesses, because I owned TurboTech, a restaurant hood cleaning business, and then I had this school within 2 years. 2 years from pulling a trigger, wanting to take my life because I didn't feel I had anything to give. Had no need to live, had nothing to give. 2 years later, life completely changed.
Man, that's super inspirational, man.
You asked me to write down, think about something inspirational. That's inspirational.
That is something inspirational.
I just lost a friend 2 days ago to suicide. Another one. I lost my nephew a few years ago to suicide. Suicide is so rampant right now. Why? Because people don't have hope. I don't understand their struggles. No, I don't understand their struggles, but I had my own.
Yes.
And I was scared to death of leaving this world that way because I didn't think there was anything going to be good for me after. But, life can change. I was teaching in a rehab center a few years ago, and I saw this guy just last year at Lowe's, and he comes up to me, Mr. Potter. I go, yes? And he goes, you remember me? And I go, I don't remember your name, but I remember your face. How you doing? And he goes, I'm doing great. I got a job now. I'm working here. My life's changed. You saved my life. Like, I didn't save your life. You saved your life. He goes, yeah, but your words meant so much to me. And it made a difference. I'm like, wow. It's one life. You save that one life, maybe that life then changes another 15 or 20.
Yeah, it becomes contagious.
It does.
Let me ask you if you have, I'm listening to you talk about kids, and I'm listening to you talk about being a positive force to change their lives. Just off at the top of your head, pick one, personalize it for me if you can. Tell me a story about someone that you think you made a difference in, someone that you saw.
I'll tell you a story. I met this kid when he was a year and a half old.
A year and a half old?
Yep, he was a year and a half old. And you got to understand that when I met this kid, 6 months prior to that, I pulled the trigger and wanted to kill myself. Mm-hmm. So I met this kid at a year and a half old, and just something about him just touched me. I can remember being in Las Cruces at the lake at
Elephant Butte.
Uh-huh. And we're partying. And I'd had quite a few drinks, and this was years ago, and my people know. I smoked a little weed, and I went and crawled into the camper. My wife at the time was already in bed and sleeping. So I get in there and I go to crawl in the bed, and he sits up and he looks at me and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" This kid was 2.5 years old. He goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I got up, walked out of the camper, shed some tears, came back in, went to sleep, and I changed my life. Completely at that time, changed my life. That kid grew up constantly doing different stuff and just blowing me away. He graduated from St. Mike's, and he was, when he was a freshman, I think it was, and sometimes my facts are wrong, but when he was a freshman in high school, he made the St. Mike's baseball team. and he played. I think it was his 8th grade year, wasn't even freshman. 8th grade year, he played baseball. And then that summer, they didn't see him. They're like, what? They'd be calling him. He just kept blowing him off. I go, why aren't you going to practice? Aren't you going to play? And he goes, no, I'd rather teach. And so that year came, and the coach is like, Marcus, what are you doing? Why aren't you at practice? And he goes, I'm not going to go out. He goes, why? You're so good. He goes, yeah, but I'm also great at teaching. I want to change kids' lives. He passed on playing varsity baseball at St. Mike's to teach kids here at this school. And he was just a very, very intelligent, but very kind. Everybody loved him. That kid's changed my life. Now he's 26 years old. The kid held on to his values, his moral values, until he was married at 25 years old. He didn't let society's thoughts about premarital sex and about sleeping around. Everybody's like, oh, you got this girlfriend. Don't you want to date other girls? No. He got married to the love of his life, who's one of my 3rd-degree black belts. And this kid now is 26 years old, owns a home in Santa Fe. Why? Because he got into the Santa Fe housing program, which is an amazing program that people don't even know about. You probably know about it, but kids don't know about it. They don't realize, oh, don't get in debt, have good credit, and be willing to sit down with an adult and have a conversation. Fill out some paperwork, and you're going to own a brand new home. And he did it. And you know what he also did? He encouraged his younger brother to do the same thing. So now his younger brother at 22 years old just got married last year. They both just got married last year. And his little brother owns a home at 22 years old. So you talk about role models and people that this has changed their life. This is his life. Marcus has taught martial arts, has taught seminars in New Zealand, Australia, 26 years old. He's an amazing kid. I was thinking about all these lives I've changed. No, that kid's pretty good. You know, he wasn't a bad kid. He's not my stepson. He's my son. His dad comes in, his dad is Ray, and him and I have a great relationship. We didn't at the beginning, but we do now. And he has 2 dads, and he's a great kid, and he's touching people's lives. He's changing lives. I walk into a grocery store, Mr. Potter, it's what a great feeling. But the greatest feeling is when you get one of those kids to now do what you're doing, what you've done all those years. Not just have a better life and do okay and be tougher. And they fought off the bully. Okay, what are you doing? Are you changing lives? Because that's the goal, right? What's my goal as a martial artist? Change lives. Create warriors. Physically and mental and spiritual warriors. Create people that are confident in themselves and have love for life and the future and see a future. Are you doing that? If you're not, why not? Because that's what I taught you to do. I teach people to change lives.
Mr. Potter, can you tell me and JD and our listeners just a little bit more about the foundation that you started, It All Matters Inc.?
It All Matters Inc. Yes, I created a foundation because I was told years ago that I needed, why am I doing it alone?
And incidentally, just to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but I went to the gala. I went to your last gala, and I really, really enjoyed it in the presentation. But anyway, please continue.
Yeah, the foundation was created because I realized that I can do more, and not putting it just financially on us, my wife and I. We teach over 50 kids with cognitive and developmental disabilities, and money's never been an issue. If they cannot pay, I want them here. There's thousands of kids in Santa Fe, thousands, who are being raised by their grandparents or their great-grandparents or their uncles or their aunts because their parents are either dead or incarcerated. Those kids have no financial means to be able to train at a martial arts school. And I'm not the only martial arts school that takes in somebody and trains them for free. We do that, yes. But you can only do so much because you got to pay your bills. And I realized that, but I didn't want to become nonprofit. I don't want to change this because I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, you can't teach that no more." What do you mean? Well, we're a board of directors, and we're not going to allow you to teach
You don't want
somebody how to choke, because we don't want the liability. Okay, so I didn't want to do that. So it was suggested to me that I create a foundation separate from the school. So I created It All Matters, Inc., because it does. It all matters. We all matter. They all matter. Now, any child in Santa Fe or anybody in Santa Fe now has the ability to train here at this school, independent of their financial limitations and or their cognitive limitations. Because we have many classes now and many kids, I say kids, some of them are in their 30s, but with cognitive disabilities, and I love working with them. My boys, my wife, we love working with these kids because we see their desire, true desire to be the best that they can be.
Yeah.
And they're not lazy. I mean, some of them are lazy. We all lazy at times.
Yeah, that's awesome. You keep on mentioning your wife. Take a minute and tell us about her.
I'll tell you about my wife.
Yeah.
She's an angel sent from heaven. I tell you, when I met her, I was training at the martial arts school, and I'm pointing back behind the camera, literally because that's where the old school was. So I was training in there with my brother-in-law, Jay Toya, who just passed away last year. And that was devastating because he's my buddy. And we were training, and this girl walks in, and she has a jogging stroller, and she has this little kid in this jogging stroller, and she's talking to our instructor. And I asked Jay, I said, "Hey, who's that?" He goes, "That's my sister. Leave her alone." Good luck on that, dude. She's okay. So I was going through a divorce at the time, and we separated, and I was trying to hit on her and trying to get her to go out with me, and she wouldn't go out with me. She didn't like me, or she liked me. She just didn't know she liked me. And it took a long time. And finally, when I got my divorce papers, she's like, "Okay, I'll go out with you." So finally we went out. And our first date was the Cross of the Martyrs. She took me up to a place in Santa Fe that's, if you need God in your life, walk up there and ask for God to come to you, and he will, because he did that moment. We have a whole other show that I can talk about of my spiritual conversion, but she was the center of it. When she took me to the train station, I had an ankle bracelet on, so I wanted to go to Kansas, and I'm wearing this ankle bracelet. I'm telling these stories, but I'm real.
No, I appreciate it.
And my families that come here, they know I'm real.
The only reason why I laugh is because I know the you now. That's what gives me the ability to be able to laugh at that, because I know who you are now.
Why she fell in love with this messed up man, it just blows me away. But she's my rock, man. She encourages me to be the best version of myself. And I've taken that and I've ran with it. And that's what I give to these kids. She taught me that I don't have to be that man I was. I don't have to be that person who was using drugs and drinking to stupidity and living a messed up life. I don't have to be that man. That's just who I am. Come on.
That's who you choose to be.
Yeah. I was molested as a kid, not by my parents, not by family, by other kids. It destroyed me. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to take my life. But she taught me, okay, get over it. Get over it. We all have stories. Get over it. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? You going to be crying about that forever? She's not somebody, I shed a tear every now and then. What's wrong with you? She's a tough woman. I need that tough woman in my life.
I love it, man.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I love it.
Mr. Potter, this brings me to, it's a perfect segue for this, but it's, you have witnessed the change in your student's life, just like you experienced the change in your life, because you had that power. Can you tell me about that? in your students?
Absolutely. You know, that's the one thing I teach. You do not have to be that kid who is weak and doesn't like himself. Look in the mirror and change that. My wife created a shirt a few years ago, and we always create these shirts when we go to Las Vegas, Nevada for the World Championships. And on the back of the shirt, it said, "Believe in yourself." That's amazing. Believe in yourself and have belief in yourself. Believe that you can do something amazing. But how do you believe in yourself? You have to create that. Somebody else can't tell you you're amazing. I tell these kids, raise your hands up in the air. Say, "I'm amazing." And they say it. "I'm amazing." Okay, now let's make yourself amazing. Because you're not amazing right now. You're a bunch of little turds. You know, come on. You've got to make yourself amazing. It's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah.
And you're going to make yourself amazing, and then you're going to go, okay, now do it again and do it again. That's the great thing about the belt system. Those mirrors are amazing because you look at yourself and you go, okay, I don't like what I see. Well, then change it. You can change your hair. You can change your eye color. You can change your physical fitness. When I was 14 years old, I couldn't climb over a wall. I couldn't do 10 push-ups. I couldn't do a chin-up. I couldn't run a mile. And then all of a sudden, I realized if I go out for football, girls like that. And if you start getting a bicep, girls like that. And then I was like, oh, dude, this is kind of cool. I changed for those reasons. Now, I'm 57 years old. I get up in the morning, I hurt like heck. Why do I hurt? Because I didn't stretch that night.
Yeah.
So change it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you change what you don't like in yourself and you make it better. Don't fall into this, I am who I am. Because on that same shirt, she highlighted, be you. And I went, oh, that's cool. I don't like it, but it was already done. I go, honey, I don't like the be you. Why? Because that's what kids are being told. Just be you, be yourself. What the heck is that? What is yourself? Because yourself can and should change. Always. You can't just be nobody. Believe and have a belief system. You want things in life, stand up tall, pull your shoulders back, work hard, and strive for it. Yeah. And if you didn't get it, and you can't, okay, does that mean you're a failure? No, you change your goals in life because of your ability. Okay, everybody's not going to be able to run a mile in 4 minutes. And if you can't, but I want to, okay. Son, you're 75 pounds overweight. Yeah. I don't see you running. Son, you have a bad leg. I don't see you running it in under 4 minutes. You have a bad back. Yeah, sometimes you have to pivot. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu. You have to pivot and shift. You have to pivot and shift, and you have to grow. You can't be that pond. You have to have moving water. You have to have new ideas. You have to keep growing. Me? I told the boys, listen, guys, their dad, we can't keep up with you. And I go, you don't have to. Just sustain and keep doing what I'm doing. Eventually, you're going to be, it'll be fine. Yeah. But if you guys can run this, I can do more. And I'm going to do more and more. I travel with Master Speakman all over the world. I'm so blessed. I've been to Europe 6 times, New Zealand, Australia, wherever he says, I need you, I'm going to go. And it's such an honor. My wife gets to go with me, my boys. I'm taking my daughter to Europe to the World Championships in Paris this year. Yeah. And so I see the foundation. My passion, sometimes it gets old teaching people just about the value of a fist. I love working with these kids who have disabilities, and that's just, I feel, just beginning. That class is growing. Now we're going to add another class. I teach at a program called ZIA, which is a behavioral center for their public schools. Heart-wrenching stories of kids who are going through terrible things in their lives at such young ages, and then our system is like, oh, you're a mess. You can't be in public schools, so we're going to put you in a special place.
Right.
And I go over there, and what do? I love them. I just go over there and love them, and they seem to have love back. And this is the first time I went over there. One of these little kids, he's about this tall, and he grabbed onto my leg, and he just held onto my leg, and the teacher was trying to pull him off. I go, leave him alone. What's he doing wrong? Well, he's not listening. How much closer can he get to me? He's comfortable. He's fine. And at the end of the year, I broke it down to teaching 3 of them at a time just to get their attention. Guess who was one of them? That kid. Standing in line, listening to instruction, following orders, not attached to my leg, but attached to me. That's...
Wow. I just want to thank you. For what you're doing with the community, what you're doing with the children. I think it's important for the youth to feel belongingness, to go through ceremony in life, and you're teaching them that they have that power.
Absolutely.
That's what we need.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it.
We were thinking about testing that list. So JD, Cassandra, Crystal, and I, we're going to attack you now.
Sure.
And we're going to see...
Sure, but I got to keep you in between me and him. Because you can't kick me if you're in the middle.
Yeah, but see, we're going to spray you.
Have to just go to the bathroom then.
But first, we're going to spray... Well, I mean, we have to start this off right. First of all, we're going to get you drunk. I'm sorry. But there's going to be at least 6 shots involved. And then... Suddenly, we're going to spray you with mace?
I do have to tell you that the first 15 years of my training was intoxicated. So that's not a good idea.
Me and JD would like to...
That's the craziest dojo in the world was shooters or Midnight Rodeo.
Absolutely. I
Where's the dojo where we go for that?
We had sparring classes on the dance floor at 2 a.m. Those were great days.
What was the movie? Roadhouse. Dalton.
I loved it. No, thank you guys. I love Santa Fe. My wife and I are involved in Santa Fe fiestas. We love Santa Fe. We love the culture. I moved here because of it. So thank you guys. Thanks for what you're doing. I love what you guys are doing, reaching out. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Santa Fe that are very interesting. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You should come and train Thursday. If you can go up there.
That would be great.
It's
next Thursday.
Next Thursday. 5 o'clock. Kids seminars at 4.
To say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days. Don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like